All right, we're going to go with the sweetgrass, the Thomasville Tome, the Suppressa, the spicy plum chutney, and the rosemary crisp, which, by the way, I opened up those crisps and the whole room smells of rosemary, which is absolutely fabulous. So I really love that smell. All right, so let's start off with Jessica.
Sure. So Thomasville Tome is our French farmhouse style. It's kind of our everyday table cheese. And it was the very first cheese that Jeremy learned how to make. So we started making it in 2002, a really long time ago, from a French cheesemaker named Jean-Marc, who's from the Pyrenees Mountains of France. He came over and worked with us for about 3 months and trying to teach Jeremy how to work with our milk. And he thought Tome was a really good place to start because it's one of the most simple recipes. And so we like to say that because you don't need to do a lot with a Tome recipe, you can get out of your own way and just let the milk speak for itself. So it's an uncooked, unpressed, raw milk, natural rind cheese. So you can see there's kind of holes in the paste. That's just because we don't press it. We want the cheese, it has to age a minimum of 60 days by FDA regulations, but we like it. I guess my favorite time is probably in that 4 to 6 month range. So getting past those kind of teenager months and not quite dried out. We want it to still have a lot of moisture and butter fat. But again, we want you to really taste that grassy, earthy component. And I would imagine that rosemary with Thomasville Tome is magical. So I'm really, really excited about that combination.
Yes, me too. And let's go ahead and hear from Ryan.
All right, so this was another exceptional cheese. Definitely, not only with this pairing, but also on its own. This is something that I really enjoyed. And the reason that I selected the Suppressa to go with it is because I felt like the flavor components that come out in Cristiano's Suppressa Finita, or the Northern Italian style of Suppressa, really complemented the flavors in the cheese. So Suppressa Veneta for us is a Northern Italian or Venetian style Suppressa. If you're unfamiliar with Suppressa, a lot of the Italian charcuterie options are actually rooted in the ingredients that go into them. In this case, Suppressa and the naming convention actually comes from the process. So nothing about Suppressa indicates the flavor profile you're going to get. You can have, the Venetian style, which is more of a wine and garlic. You can have a Southern style where you're going to get a little bit more of a spice. Traditionally, this salami, this ground fermented salami, was actually made by squeezing, which is the root of the word suppressa, squeezing the salami between two wooden boards. And while that's no longer a common practice, the naming convention has stayed. And so this Venetian style suppressa, it's actually my personal favorite product that Cristiano makes. I think a little bit of that is personal bias. A few years ago, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Italy. We went to Florence. Cristiano led us around, and we were actually able to go to the castle where the Bibi Gratz family lives. They make the Sangiovese wine that goes into the Suppressa product. And we were able to stand there at the castle, look out into the fields, and really just get a deep appreciation of the components that go into this salami. So this is macerated garlic, Sangiovese wine, and it goes into a casing and then ages and really kind of re-ferments and redevelops those flavors that are inside, which is a very smooth flavor profile, so it lends itself easy to pairings, but also a very intense flavor that comes out of that macerated garlic and the Sangiovese.
Great. Oliver.
I thought I think both the salami and the cheeses, they might be just great as they are. I mean, I don't know. They're subtle and just really nice. I mean, I guess put just maybe a little touch of chutney. I wouldn't put too much on it with this one. It's our award winner. All you cheese people have got so many awards. I don't know. There's different competitions. There's not many chutney awards. We tried to do a chutney festival here in Virginia years ago. Couldn't really get anyone to come. It was too early, but we did get an award. Anyway, this is our Sophie Award winning one. So that we talk about that all the time. It's just sort of English. It's plums, you know, a lot of ginger. So you're tasting a lot of ginger, and we use not the fresh, but we use the solid chunks of ginger. And I do think the rosemary plum, that's nice. I think. You know, it's just again savory and sweet. It is super rosemary though, Robert. I mean, my gosh,
no, totally.
It hits you with like a lovely smell. I mean, it's wow.
All right, Robert.
All right. Well, yeah, you're totally right, Oliver. The rosemary is like our biggest flavor of any of the crisps we make. And I was really thinking, initially, I love rosemary with this style of cheese. I like it with an aged cheddar. I like it with, you know, like Caerphilly, cheeses like that. But also thinking of the Soppressa is to me, it's such a Mediterranean flavor, and that marries really well with rosemary that you get in this. So yeah, in this case, I think it's a nice.
So you guys, putting all these together, there's so many great flavors. I mean, you know, you were right about the ginger. I never really thought about it, but that spiciness in there is, you know, coming from that ginger in there. And then with the rosemary, it kind of just brings it all up to another level. It's such a wonderful pairing. And the tome stays there. You don't lose the cheese with all these flavors and all this impact. It really stays there. You don't need, you know, for beer pairings, you really don't need anything that's gonna like have to really get involved in this. And as a matter of fact, kind of staying away isn't a bad thing. So I went with Dale's Pale Ale, you know, just have a little bit of hoppiness and just a hint in here, but nothing to clean the palate. And that's really all it's got to do here is just do that. So what a nice pairing. I mean, we're really well done. Jessica, what do you think?
I love it. And I would say, Oliver, this award is very well deserved. So very, very delicious product. And I love the ginger note too. I think it just adds a really great flavor profile. I love the aroma of the rosemary. And listening to Ryan's story, I think I should have gone into the meat business. That sounds amazing. I want to be drinking Sangiovese at a castle in Florence. I mean, it would be my favorite too, I would imagine.
I think we need an excursion to a vineyard and do a pairing with the vineyard at there. I know breweries are pretty fun and easy, but vineyards, you know, they take a little bit more coordination. But I think we should do that. Well,
next filming. Absolutely.
Hey, Michael, I want to say one thing about this salami, which I thought was, so you look at it, how do you keep it, Ryan, so it's all nice and got this little moisture content in it? Like, I'm used to like seeing like dried little hockey pucks of salamis. That's what I hate cheese boards, but this is like just tender and just a little shaving.
You know, the reality is, out of all of the facets of cured meat, the categories of meat that you can create, whether that's whole muscle, dry aged, cooked product, the ground fermented product is really more of an art than a science. Balancing pH swings and keeping the moisture that you need to really deliver the flavor without letting it be too dry. That's really where Cristiano's skill shines. You know, hundreds of years of family recipes. He was literally born in a salami factory. His mom went into labor while she was working in the family factory. So this is just a skill that's been developed over the years, and I agree with you. It's something that he does exceptionally well. And this product is my particular favorite because of that. It really doesn't deliver a dry or overly salty. It delivers flavor, but then also kind of brings out the complexity of the rosemary, of the tome, of the plum. It really helped to round out this pairing, in my opinion. And I really, really liked the flavor components that came in from each of our products here.
Oh, well said. Anything else anybody would like to add? Okay.